Hey guys, thanks for checking out my YouTube channel. This video is going to be about triplets. A lot of times I get asked how to play fast, and not just in a fast song, but if it's a slow song or a medium tempo song, how can you add fast phrases or fast lines to what you're doing? So oftentimes this comes in the form of a triplet. So I'm going to show you what triplets are basically in its most basic form, and then making longer phrases out of that. So if you haven't already, please hit subscribe and check out more of my videos. Thanks. So we're talking about triplets, and to start this conversation, let's just look at one triplet. So that is 3 notes, as the name implies, and a really cool technique for counting it. If you're counting out loud, you could, you're counting like 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth notes would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you could throw that triplet in there, like 1 and 2 and 3 and triplet, 1, 2, 3, triplet. So I'm just putting that on beat 4, and the word has 3 syllables, so it actually conveniently works for counting it out. So if we are going to play 3 notes in the place of 2 notes, in the place of 2 eighth notes, then we have to think about that ahead of time for our picking technique, because it throws off our alternating picking. So one example would be if you're playing a fiddle tune in the key of D, and you're starting on the D note. So let's say something like Cuckoo's Nest. So that song, which goes, so that opening phrase, that first line, instead of going, which I'm doing an A and a C sharp, just has 2 eighth notes, I could play triplet 1. So what I'm doing there is I'm playing A, B, C sharp, and then landing on D for the downbeat of that first measure. But I'm going to start that triplet phrase on an upstroke. So it takes a little bit of thinking ahead of time to know that that's how you're, it's just when you get that in your hands, you just know that if you ever want to insert a triplet phrase like that as pickup notes, then it needs to start on an upstroke. Now, this begs the question, would I ever play a triplet like that starting on a downstroke? I do, but I've kind of developed a technique to where I can cope with that, because if you want to keep that alternating picking going, you have to have something to cope with the fact that you're ending on an upstroke. So I'll show you. Maybe I'll do this. What I'm doing here is I'm playing downstroke, but that last A, that open A string, I'm actually doing a pull off with my first finger. So the next level would be to play 2 triplet phrases together. And I'll show you a really good lick that you can use to do this. So if I have triplet, triplet, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 notes now. One really good technique, I'll show you like in the key of D again. So if I have, I'm going to play basically like a D scale, but I'm going to leave out the G. So these are the notes. Triplet, triplet. And then that last D is like the downbeat of a phrase, of the next bar or something. So this phrase, this triplet run works really well, for instance, on, well, let's say on the same thing, Cuckoo's Nest, but instead of going, I could go, or, for instance, if you're playing Whiskey Before Breakfast, I like to throw it in on that B part. And this one actually works a little bit differently, because I'm putting that triplet phrase starting on the downbeat. Then I did the same thing for the E minor. So now that we know how to play 2 triplets back to back, making it 6 notes, let's just take that 2 triplet phrase, so 6 notes, and double it, because now we have an even number of notes that's easy to replicate as far as our alternating picking. So let's say we have this phrase. I'm going to actually double the amount of notes, and I'm going to use a similar kind of scale run to go down from D back down to open D. So it's the same notes, You can see how I've just doubled it. So now, presumably, we have 12 notes, but it fits in that bar. Now I can take that same idea and maybe play so now that we have 12 notes that fit in the place of 8 notes, you can practice that feel and get that in your hands, and then basically change the notes around, and you can just keep replicating that. So you can play 12 notes and then do that same thing, another bar, and you have 24 notes, and that's how you can create these fast runs that fit really easily in time. So